to make a guess, I think.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit not certain. One of the things that I see as being real, Rune Shanter's pike is a big deal. You can do the attack, move the pike, set up a block that's really, really advantageous. But conversely, the white weenie deck, as you kind of pointed out, it is going to be more aggressive on average.
Yeah, the problem that I see from the blue-white blade style, more of a blade style deck, is just he can easily get opening hands that just don't go anywhere, whereas the more white weenie human-based deck is always going to present a curve of creatures. So all other things being equal, I would rather be on the side that's presenting a curve than having some draws that don't really go anywhere. But that is why we play the games.
It's true.
Among other reasons.
In the finals of Atlanta, Charles Gindy did take down a deck very similar to what Konan Ahmed is playing.
Yeah, Charles Gindy is a stone cold master, though.
This is true. This is true.
He beat me in the finals of my only Grand Prix finals. Charles Gindy is the guy who dispatched me.
He beat me once in a game we were playing for fun at just random table at a Star City Games event.
That's not quite as compelling of a story, but
it's true.
It's also true.
Who will win?
Yeah.
Humans or humans? Oh, they're both humans and spirits, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, there's a lion in Conan's deck. He's got one lion main deck. That would be Leonin Relic Warder.
Yep. Which is a reasonable... I think it's totally reasonable to have that in the deck, given how, equipment... I mean, in the mirror match, it seems like a totally reasonable card because you need to break serve off onto the Pures and, Angelic Destinies potentially. Plenty of targets in the mirror and similar decks, so... A totally reasonable metagame call.
And as we see, his opponent, Ricky Sidher, has one Divine Offering, and it's serving the same purpose.
Yeah.
You've got to be cautious about going too far down that path, because what you can do is you can out-tricky yourself and just become a deck that the tricks aren't being very useful, and you've got a slightly less powerful creature as a result. Konan Ahmed is actually, he spent most of the tournament as the #1 seed. Here, forced to play because Ricky is actually in a position where he's one of the lowest numbers, one of the lowest tiebreak persons in his bracket, and he has to play or he can't necessarily make it. A bad break will mean he wouldn't make it at all.
This is a big flip. Nope.
Delver versus Gideon's Lawkeeper. Delver stays as a 1/1. He offers the trade, and Konan accepts it. Replaced by a Stalker. Stalker is just such a monster.
He's a monster with a little bit of help. He needs help. He needs some tools.
He needs to have something. And we've got Abolisher here, turning off all instants from Ricky on Conan's turn. And there is no help for the Stalker, at least this turn. Will he have a Sword of War and Peace or a Pike right now for subsequent turns? Just another Stalker.
Not as the second one, not as good as the first.
Yep. It's not like he's playing against Edicts here. He doesn't really get much value out of that. I think I see a Fiend Hunter in Conan's hand. Am I seeing that wrong?
There's a good chance. He does have 2 of them.
Okay, land. 3 mana produces a Geist of St. Traft. It's a pretty good one.
All white cards look the same to me.
Ponder? Is that Gitaxian Probe for 1 mana? No pain there. I see Hero, Angelic Destiny, a Leonin Relic Warder, I believe, is that first card. And at the very top, I can't quite make out that top card. I'm going to let you all know at home, if you try to shift your head one way or another, it doesn't help.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Still can't make out that top card.
Yep.
And with 2 Invisible Men. So, Kevin Bacon, and who's the other one? Clive? Wow. Christian Slater apparently is another Invisible Man. I did not know that.
And the Abolisher is pretty sweet because so much of the game appears to be about the unsummons of the world. All right, so we have
Sword of War and Peace. Very big deal from Ricky.
Yeah. He gives a little rub because he needs that land for...
He's got the double white for the Leonin Relic Warder.
He gave a little rub. That land's a good draw.
I think we're going to see a hero on the next turn. I think that even the life gain that the sword provides won't be enough to overcome a hero. Relic Warder?
Nope. Yep, the one Miser's Relic Warder, pretty awesome right there.
Anything to do? I see a Mana Leak. I see it's funny that a Vapor Snag actually doesn't do very much here.
Right.
You know, you spend the 1 mana to Vapor Snag, it might resolve. If it does resolve, you equip this sword, and he's not going to gain that much life.
Yep.
And then the Warder, the Leonin Relic Warder, just comes right back down.
Right.
Abolisher keeping a...
Yeah, the Abolisher, given how much of the matchup is about your Vapor Snags and Snapcaster Mage is trying to, like, mess up combat and generate tempo and clear out boards and stuff. It's really putting a hamstring in any sort of angle like that.
To answer a question from, well, actually, that's from a while ago. Never mind.
So he's going to snag the Abolisher and pass the turn. So that play almost certainly has to represent Snapcaster Mage, but I guess we'll find out. Nope. Alright, so the Mana Leak resolves. We're going to get in for 8 here.
Don't be fooled by that Sword of War and Peace. It's hiding it's hiding underneath the Leonin Relic Warder, not being carried by the Leonin Relic Warder. Draw, and he knows it's over.
Yeah.
Scoops it on up. Ricky's going to go to game 2 here, hoping to find something to help him here. It's probably going to definitely be a extra Sword of War and Peace. And then I would say he could consider images if he wants to fight against the superior creatures from his opponent. They fight a Geist, but he's still going to be down a little bit because of Honor the Pure when it comes to the copying of a creature.
Yeah, on the other side of things, we have a Revoke Existence and Oblivion Ring and another Relic Warder, all of which very good at fighting equipment naturally. And he has 2 Feast and Famines and an additional War piece that he might want access to as well. 2 Gut Shots are also a possibility given Delver of Secrets, but that seems awfully narrow.
For those of you out there in the audience wondering, yes, I can see what you're doing out there. It is clairvoyance. So.
So yeah, just with I'm a much bigger fan of Konan Ahmed's style of beatdown deck, just because, you know, and this was sort of my experience with the Delver Ravings deck, is just the hands that you get where you don't have your 1-drop, or your 1-drop doesn't flip right away, or whatever the case, you're not really fighting a good aggro fight, and you don't have the tools to fight a good control fight. So your best draws look awesome when you have a mix and match of everything you kind of need, but you're way more likely to get opening hands that just kind of don't go anywhere.
Essentially, what you get is you get a lot higher highs and lower lows.
Yes.
And the lows are actually far more common than you'd think.
Also, a quick update, the Los Angeles Clippers, led by the greatest point guard alive, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, up 13 on the Lakers at halftime, in case you were wondering.
How many touchdowns is that?
That's 2 and a missed extra point. Matt Sperling and I have a bet for a 6 of beer on this game, so I'll take a Stone IPA 6 if you're listening.
Okay, so Konan laughing a little bit here with Ricky. Ricky looked a little bit unhappy there for a second. I'm not sure. Is he going to his sideboard now? I mean, they should have been sideboarding for a while. They're talking about tiebreakers, whether they can or not. Ricky's, I think, the unhappy look is he knows that he is unlikely to be able to make it through if he draws. It's possible, but basically what he's doing is he's changing having his fate in his hand into a bad die roll.
I mean, a lot of it just has to do with how comfortable you are in the matchup, right? Like, it's a reasonable roll to die if you think you're a significant dog, just to say, well, I'm 25% roughly to hit on breakers, and I feel like I'm less than 25 to actually win these next two games. That's one thing, but, you know, since it's hard to nail the odds that precisely, I would generally err on the side of, you know, just keeping things in my own hands as much as possible. But
I really like having things in my own hands as well. It looks as though they have decided to draw. And, I mean, from Conan's perspective, that's great. He already